Thanks for the 2,000 likes in the previous video, and thanks to our friend for supporting the channel financially, and I hope this video also reaches 2,000 likes. But suddenly Ryu spoke prophetically. "Mr. Ma, something interesting will happen soon." Heavenly Demon looked puzzled and asked, "What do you mean by that all of a sudden?" Ryu replied, "I told the staff to register an item for auction on the day of the opening." Heavenly Demon inquired, "An auction?" Ryu replied, "The player's place had an auction system where anyone with money in their account could participate in a 24-hour auction for items." Heavenly Demon asked, "So you secretly put up an auction item?" Ryu replied, "Yes. I thought that having an auction item might pique people's interest even more." And Ryu added, "Of course I'm not donating it. You should consider the proceeds from the auction as mine." Heavenly Demon said, "Of course. But what kind of item did you put up?" Ryu smiled slyly. "You'll see when you look at it, Manager Kim." Heavenly Demon said, "Sure." And he said to Kim, "Can you please show us the auction progress on the monitor?" Kim said, "Of course." And he displayed the auction page. And this information appears on the auction page. Blueprint, Minotaur's armor. Auction in progress. Starting bid, 1-1. Current bid, 1-2-10-392-1. Time remaining until the auction ends, 23:52:34. The player with the highest bid at the end of the timer will win the auction. Then Ryu said to Heavenly Demon, "This is the auction status. As you can see, it has already reached 1.21 million won." Heavenly Demon's eyes widened in shock and his tongue did not utter any words. The price had climbed significantly in less than 10 minutes, but after an hour, the price had exceeded 10 million won, and after 3 hours, it had crossed 50 million won. And the next day, a message arrived for Ryu. "Ryu Min, your auction item has been sold to the highest bidder." Upon reading the message, Ryu couldn't help but be astonished, as the auction price was a staggering 1 billion won. Then Ryu said, "Blueprints hold undeniable significance, and it's more efficient to invest in blueprints with written combination formulas than to experiment with random items, considering both time and labor saved." But Ryu also inquired, is it truly worth the staggering 1 billion? In fact, that's not the core issue here, as blueprints, in essence, are repositories of information. Crafting items from blueprints necessitates sourcing materials separately. In simple terms, someone spent 1 billion just to acquire information. As a buyer, he must have discerned value in the investment. Then Ryu said, "After all, it's the first blueprint item, and it's touted for its unique armor crafting potential, making it quite enticing, and perhaps they would acquire information through blueprints and profit by sharing it with others." Indeed, there were individuals who had thrived through this approach, and Ryu said, "I could potentially sell the combination formulas in my head and amass substantial wealth, but monopolizing information yields greater gains than selling it. And selling items crafted from blueprints would be a more profitable endeavor." However, Ryu has no intention of going through the trouble of making and selling items. His goal was simply to create the items he needed, and with an abundance of wealth at his disposal, there was no need for him to do otherwise, especially when stock prices are on the rise. In any case, Ryu was content with the 1 billion windfall when a phone call interrupted his thoughts. The caller ID revealed Heavenly Demon. Then Ryu answered, "Yes, Mr. President." With voice filled with excitement, Heavenly Demon said, "Prophet, have you seen the winning bid at the auction?" Ryu replied calmly, "Yes, I have." Heavenly Demon marveled and said, "Unbelievable. 1 billion in just one day. I didn't expect it to reach such heights." Ryu inquired, "Do you know who the buyer is? With that kind of wealth, they might have some connection with you, Mr. President." Heavenly Demon clarified, "That's correct. I found out that the buyer shares the same name as the eldest son of Hancheol Group's chairman." "Well, we're not close. I just know his name," Ryu replied thoughtfully. "Is that so?" Then Heavenly Demon revealed, "I did some research. About 10,000 people bid within 24 hours. Just as you predicted. It seems to have certainly captured the attention, as the website traffic significantly dropped right after the auction item was sold." Ryu suggested, "Indeed, should we consider listing another item then?" Heavenly Demon inquired, "Do you have something else worth listing?" Ryu explained, It's an item called bull leather, and I thought it might not sell unless I mentioned that it's a material needed for the blueprint I just listed. Hearing that, Heavenly Demon asked, his curiosity piqued. How did you know it's needed for the blueprint? Ryu replied confidently, I saw it through my prophecy. He said, ah, I see. Then Ryu added, anyway, I'll drop by the company later to deliver the item. Heavenly Demon said, all right, if you give it to Manager Kim, he'll take care of it. Ryu smiled and thought that being a CEO certainly had its perks, and he could delegate the tedious tasks to your employees. Suddenly, Heavenly Demon inquired, by the way, where did you get items like blueprints and materials? I've never seen these items before. But Ryu replied nonchalantly, I was surprised too. I just got lucky while hunting monsters, that's all. In fact, blaming it on luck was a convenient excuse. Then Heavenly Demon added, I noticed that a lot of items have been listed in just one day. Ryu confirmed, saying, that's right. Currently, there are over 3,000 items registered. He said it's going to be challenging with so many sellers. Ryu revealed there are many buyers, too. The transaction volume is over 50 deals per hour. Heavenly Demon said, that's true. Then Ryu inquired, as a middleman site, have you prepared a plan for transactions like we discussed? Heavenly Demon replied, of course. As we discussed before, we've diversified transaction methods for user convenience, including face-to-face transactions, courier transactions, and consignment transactions. We provide identity verification and various authentication methods to ensure the safety of transactions between buyers and sellers on our platform. Ryu commented, that sounds promising, and he said to himself, certainly, Heavenly Demon possessed entrepreneurial qualities as a scion of a conglomerate. Then Ryu inquired to him, as I mentioned before, you'll make it possible for foreigners to register, right? Heavenly Demon assured, saying yes. Opening it to foreign players is scheduled for a week later, but we've already built a system to make it available to players worldwide. We've taken care of customs clearance and all the legal aspects. Hearing that, Ryu smiled and said, well done. In fact, currently, there are only 40,000 Korean players. Limiting customers to Korea alone wouldn't lead to success. It was better to expand on a global scale, and the plan was to gather materials from all over the world. After that, Heavenly Demon said, first, I'll arrange for the auction proceeds to be sent directly to your account, Prophet. And if you happen to desire any other items, don't hesitate to make purchases as well. Ryu said, yes, I will. And with a subtle grin, Ryu ended the call and said to himself, that was precisely my intention. Then Ryu accessed the app, scouring it for any promising items, and said, it seems like people have been listing quite a lot, perhaps in need of some cash. Over time, equipment that had become unneeded as players leveled up, as well as magic stones and material items whose uses were unknown, had all found their way to the listings. There was a wide variety of items available. Then Ryu said, let's start by gathering unique materials. In fact, Ryu has memorized the unique item combination formula required for the Reaper job over and over again. Deerwood roots, dark steel ore, orc's canine, Troll's vertebrae, and he placed unique material items into his virtual shopping cart and said, with what I've gathered, I can probably craft 3 unique items. Most items were priced at or below 500,000 Korean won. And when he added them all to his cart, the total cost barely surpassed 5 million won. Seeing the price, Ryu said, the cost of making 3 unique items is incredibly cheap. Satisfied, Ryu proceeded to search for magic stones, and the lowest grade magic stones price was 2 million won per piece. When he saw the price, Ryu said, well, discovering the combination formula for magic stones is relatively straightforward, and they likely recognized its value once they realized it could be embedded in equipment, but he smiled and said, price isn't an issue when you're swimming in real-world money. Then he promptly bought all the magic stones listed. All of them were of the lowest grade, and they amounted to over 90 pieces in total. Ryu wore a satisfied grin as he confidently pressed the payment button and said, it's about 18 million won or so. No problem at all. 2 days later, from the front entrance, Ryu heard his younger brother's exclamation. He was saying, whoa, Hyung! What's all this? What's going on? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will try to upload the next part in 2 days.